Sit back, relax. You're listening to the Brogcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brogcast. Boy, it's been a while since I've seen you guys here on the Brogcast. It's been 2 months. It's been a long time. The reason why I've been gone for so long and just have been doing drum covers and things like that is because I normally do these episodes in the middle of the night. That's like what I have been doing for a while now. And I decided that I wanted to focus on my sleep, getting my sleep dialed in, and just focusing on sleep and sleeping earlier rather than going to sleep at like past midnight. So because I usually get the motivation to do these podcasts at like 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. And since focusing on my sleep schedule and trying to go to sleep earlier, for some reason during the day, I don't really have that like impulse to do an episode. So, and it's been 2 months. So today I kind of had to drag myself over here to this microphone and do an episode because it's been a while, and I'm sure some of you guys are missing the Brogcast. So and I'm not like dreading doing this. I'm just less motivated compared to like I would be at like the middle of the night. So yeah, that's where I've been. Hope you guys are doing well. This is going to be a internet-related episode with internet-related questions. The reason why I picked this topic is because I've been getting into this meme called the Tourette's guy. Basically, all the way back in 2004, I think is when it started. Back in 2004, this series came out called The Tourette's Guy. The Tourette's Guy had his own YouTube channel, where the Tourette's Guy is such an enigma. But essentially, the Tourette's Guy, I know it sounds kind of offensive because he doesn't actually have Tourette's, but he's just this guy who gets a few beers in him and just says the most wild shit. And it's been going on since 2004. So I've been thinking about the Tourette's guy quite often. And also I've been following this fan page on Instagram where he posts Tourette's guy videos. And then I've just been interacting with the fans on the fan page. So it's made me think of like internet, like from years ago compared to what it's like today. If you're into absurd, slightly offensive humor, go check out the Tourette's guy. He's so freaking funny. It's got to be like one of my favorite internet memes and internet series. I guess it would be number one because I somehow know how to. I know like all of the quotes verbatim, and I have ever since I started watching Tourette's guy back in high school. I still remember all of the quotes from him. And so I think that's got to be my favorite, just because I'm still to this day sort of obsessed with that series, and I just can't get out of my head. And it's just been in my head for so long that like I guess it's got to be my favorite internet series. So, all right. So like I said, internet related questions. There's gonna be 50 internet related questions for this episode. As usual, I forgot to mention, as usual, I have my coconut water. I have 2 containers of coconut water, or 2 cartons, I should say. I don't have my little miniature chair that I had last time, that I usually put here on my right side. I don't know what happened to that. I think it's outside, and I didn't want to go outside and drag it all the way in. So I have these 2 cartons of coconut water just chilling by my computer. Hopefully I don't knock them over and get it onto my computer. Oh, that'd be crazy. But it should be fine. The cap screws back on, so I guess once I take a sip, I can just screw the cap back on, and it shouldn't. If it does knock over, it shouldn't spill over onto anything. All right, now let's get started. First question is, who actually invented the internet, and why is the answer so complicated? So I don't really know internet history that far back. So I don't know who invented the internet, but it's complex because it's complex to answer this question because it's the internet itself is really complicated. Just the way that it works. There's a lot of things that have to be kind of intertwined and connected to each other for it to work properly and for it to exist. I'm gonna try to answer this a little bit more, uh, with a little bit more elaboration. I don't know. I think that's as far as I could really explain it. The internet is just something that requires a lot of different connections. That's why it's called an internet connection because the internet requires a lot of different things connected together in order for it to operate. And I think in order for it to even be a thing, I think in order for the internet um, to start, it just has to have everything put together. So that's why it's so complicated because when the internet first came out, they probably had to do a lot of different things to. I mean, like if you consider like the way Wi-Fi works, the way fiber optics works, even some internet is connected to the satellite, so that's got to work. People from all over the world can communicate together. You can make videos on the internet and post videos and then there's internet speed as well. So like it's very, very complicated. So I guess that's my answer to that question. I don't know who invented the internet, but I definitely understand why it's so complicated because there's a lot of things connected together. All right, next question is, what was the very first website ever published? This is like trivia shit. I thought it was going to ask me like my own opinions about the internet, not like facts. The first website, I want to say Google, but I don't think it was Google. AOL maybe? I don't know. I'm trying to think that far back. Like I said, I don't know early internet stuff, so I don't know. I think I'm just gonna say either AOL or Google was probably the first website. I could be totally wrong, but that's like the earliest I can think of. All right, next question is, how did dial-up internet shape early online culture? So, from what I can understand, dial-up was one of the first, like, I guess, early on sort of conception of fast internet. Because before that, I think internet was a lot slower, and it just required a lot of patience. And I think internet back then was probably a lot more expensive and less accessible. Whereas I think dial-up brought the internet to a larger and more inclusive audience. So I think that's how it shaped it. I think dial-up also sort of paved the way for faster internet. That's my answer to this question. Next question is, what were the earliest viral moments before viral was a term? So I'm gonna say like the Tourette's guy, like I was just saying, back in 2004, that era. I think that's when things first started to become viral because that was at a time where more and more people had the internet, and I think with that larger audience, that meant that more people could see certain things on the internet. So I think that was around the time that viral became a thing. Was when you had MySpace and eBaum's World and maybe was Newgrounds that old? I don't know. I'm a Gen Z. I'm 27, so a lot of my early internet memories probably aren't as accurate. But I think that I want to say around that time was when things started to become more viral because that's when more and more people started having the internet and it was more inclusive. Next question is, how did social media evolve from MySpace to today's platforms? So I remember MySpace. I remember my older sisters were really into MySpace. And so out of all the early stuff, I think I know MySpace probably the most. Um, I want to say as far as having internet friends and getting connected with the people you know, I think MySpace pioneered that. Also, the page layout. I think the profile and like homepage layouts that they made on MySpace really paved the way for today's social media. One thing though that I wish still existed on social media pages is the ability to design them. So MySpace and even early YouTube at one point let you customize the colors, the graphics. You could even have music playing when you got onto your MySpace page. YouTube, I don't think YouTube had that, but they had the color option. You can make the background different. You could add graphics. And today's social media, they don't really have that feature. It would be cool if they did, because that was really cool back in the day. But I think as far as the ways that people get connected to people that they know online, and maybe meeting new people, discovering music, that was a big thing with MySpace back in the day. In fact, they had their own record company, MySpace Records. One of my favorite artists from that time is Mickey Avalon. He did the My Dick, My Dick song. It's funny as hell. And then also he did a couple more songs after that, but that was like his biggest song, I think. There was Mickey Avalon and a few other artists that got their start on MySpace. So I think MySpace was one of the first to do that, especially was to get exposure with music. I think, was it Afroman? I think Afroman was another artist that started off on MySpace. So I think that's maybe the biggest thing is music exposure. Because before MySpace, I don't think it was very easy to discover music artists. So yeah, I think that's what the kind of impact that MySpace had on today's social media. Next question is, what old internet trend or platform do you wish would return? Um, so I'm going to say what I just explained. I want that page customization to come back because it everything looks the same now. Like Instagram looks the same, Facebook looks the same, Snapchat looks the same. I want to see the page customization to come back. I want people to be able to put their own graphics on, their own colors, their own design, like some like I think yeah, HTML coding I think is the correct term for that. But yeah, the ability to just customize your page, I think that should be an option like it was back in the day. Same with music too. Like what I liked about MySpace is you could go onto someone's page and they would have a certain song playing. And they kind of have that on Instagram, but it's a little bit different. It doesn't just start playing automatically. I remember MySpace, when they had that music feature, it would just start playing. Whereas with Instagram, you kind of have to press a few buttons on someone's profile to find that one song. But yeah, I want to say page customization. That was really, really cool back in the day. I wish it would come back. Next question is, what was your first online username and why was it so embarrassing? I don't think my first internet name was embarrassing. I think my first internet name, or I think it was my email, and then I used it for AOL back in the day. My internet name was Drake is Cool because I was big into Drake and Josh at the time. I did change my username a lot back then on AOL, but I think my very first internet name was Drake is Cool with a Z, IZ, because I was just big into Drake and Josh back in the day. So it's not really embarrassing. It's just kind of indicative of the time. So yeah, not embarrassing. Next question is, how has online language, LOL, BRB, emojis, changed communication? Well, I think it started with texting, because when texting first became a thing, and before we had keyboard phones and you had to use the number pad to send messages, that's where the abbreviation came from, because you didn't want to have to tap the number keys 1,000 times to make a full sentence. You could just do LOL or BRB or LMFAO. That's where it all started. And so that's kind of where it came from. The abbreviation stuff was through texting, and then it came over to like the internet stuff. Next question is: was the internet more fun before smartphones? Mm, depends. Depends on how you define it. So maybe the experience, as far as like, um, maybe the culture back then was cool, but the internet speed was painful back in the day. And then having that interconnected with the home phone, oh, that was because you could not have somebody on the phone and on the internet at the same time. They were connected, right? And so you would have to wait for somebody to get off the phone or wait for somebody to get off the computer in order to use either thing. So there's that. And then, yeah, the internet speed was insane. Downloading stuff, uploading stuff. Computer speed was also super slow back then because the RAM was a lot slower back then, like, and memory and things like that, back in like the hard disk days. So, yeah, most of it just didn't seem like fun, but I'd say the culture was the fun part. But I think the archaicness of internet back then uh, made things not fun for the most part. Next question is: what piece of internet history most people today don't know about? I'm gonna say like the hold on. I keep turning my phone off because if I turn my phone off, or not turn my phone off, if I lock it for too long, then ChatGPT, which I'm using for the questions, is just going to refresh, and then I lose track of my questions. Um, so I would say like maybe the early social media and how it used to be. Maybe the internet speed. I think a lot of people take today's internet speed for granted, and so a lot of kids nowadays don't understand how painfully slow internet was back in the day. And also like early YouTube, how that was. So and also I think like the forum sites, like it was like Reddit sort of, but a little bit more archaic. So that's another thing people don't understand nowadays. But I would say like the biggest thing is like internet speed and just overall simplicity. Next question is: has social media made people more connected or more isolated? Hmm. I think when it first started out, it was all about connectivity, and people weren't so isolated back then when it first came out because people weren't as glued to their phones and hooked on dopamine hits and starving for likes and engagements. Um, so I think it depends on the person. I think if somebody manages their screen time properly and spends less time on social media, I think they could become less isolated, especially if they meet people in person and they hang out with their friends and they hang out with their family and they stay connected socially. If they do that, then they're not going to be super isolated and things are more connected. But I would say overall, if it's used wisely, social media can connect people. Next question is: which social media platform had the biggest cultural impact? I would say TikTok. Something about TikTok really, really caught on with a lot of people. I don't know why TikTok, because there have been very similar platforms, but TikTok just seemed to have just had a polarizing effect because when TikTok first came out, I was like, okay, this is going to be like Vine. It's going to be short. It's going to be short form video, and it's just going to be like another Vine or just another social media platform. Well, something about it, it not only reached people my age and younger, but boomers were getting into TikTok. Like my uncle, he buys stuff off of TikTok stores all the time. Like he gave me some spicy ketchup from TikTok shop, and I was like, can I eat this? Because I was like, off of TikTok, that's very bizarre. And it's good. It's like a spicy celery tasting ketchup. But anyway, like he uses it. My parents use it. and then people younger, like not my siblings, my nieces and nephews and cousins, they use TikTok. But I think the biggest thing for me was getting the older audience into it. I don't know how they did it, but they did. Next question is, should influencers be considered entrepreneurs? I mean, yeah, entrepreneur is just sort of a the how you define entrepreneurship is just finding a way to make money on your own. So I think, yeah, influencers are an example of that. People may judge uh, influencers, but I think by definition they are entrepreneurs. Next question is, what is the weirdest community you've ever found online? I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the iFunny community. And I'm not on iFunny anymore. I deleted my account and actually recently went back to it, but then deleted it again because it there's this there's just these stupid microtransactions in it now. But I'd say the weirdest people that I've interacted with are the people on iFunny. Just a bunch of people who are hooked on the internet and they're unemployed, and then they're into all this weird stuff. Like, it's very diverse, or at least it used to be. I don't know how it is now. Like I said, I deleted my account, but the most diverse and weirdest people for some reason all coagulated on iFunny. Next question is, are comment sections harming society or helping it? I mean, I guess it depends. It depends on how people interact with those comments. So, like, if, say, I guess I'll put myself in the example. So, I let people comment stuff as much as possible. Like, people are free to say what they want to say. And there's some people who let those comments get to them, and then they stop creating, they stop making things and doing what they want to do because of the stupid comments. So people like that, it may destroy them. But like in my case, I use these comments for constructive criticism. Some of it is bullshit, and there's nothing I can really, build from with those comments. But I like the constructive criticism. I think that will help build somebody if they let it. But for some people, it's destructive in that way because they just let it stifle them creatively. Next question is, how much of our personality is shaped by what we see online? I think this goes back to what I was saying earlier about managing your screen time and making sure that you're, staying connected and still immersed socially outside of the internet. I think if there's people who spend too much time online, they let these creators shape who they're supposed to be, and people aren't being themselves. But I think if they stay connected outside of the internet, it's not going to affect their personality. But it is very sad. There are a lot of people who are addicted to the internet, and they end up just listening to these people and shape their personality that way, instead of organically having, their own personality. Next question is, should kids under 13 be allowed on social media? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think that they should have full access to everything on social media. I think it's fine if, let's say, you're a kid and you want to watch a kid show on YouTube. That's one thing. But I don't think someone that age should have access to everything that's on the internet. There's a lot of harmful things for people that age, and there's a lot of stuff that they don't need to know yet at that age. And their brains are still developing at that age. So it may it may fuck with their development, as they leave the teen years and become adults. So I think overall maybe not, but I think it has to be very, very limited at the very least for people that age. Next question is cancel culture an internet problem or a cultural one? Oh no, it's definitely not an internet thing. I don't think it's an internet thing. I think it's a culture thing, because like cancel culture is just, I understand the intent behind it. I think what people are trying to do is just make society a better place, but the way that they're doing it is just bonkers. Like digging up someone's old tweets or old videos or old posts where they're just they're just clowning and being goofballs, and then they become famous, and then someone's like, "Hey, you said this 15 years ago." It's like, no, that's just stupid. Like, in 15 years, people can really change and become different people, and like, I'm a perfect example of that. I've said wild shit on platforms years and years ago, and I've learned to just go, okay, that's really stupid to say. It's going to bite your ass later. But if, let's say, this podcast becomes huge and I get famous for it, people are going to look through my old stuff and find some dumb shit that I've said, but that doesn't make sense because that's a past version of me. People can change over time, because in these days, I don't, I really watch what I say and post and do. And, that's also kind of related to the previous question. I was exposed to social media at a very young age. So in my early teen years, I said a bunch of really stupid stuff. Even in my early 20s, I said a little bit of stupid stuff. Um, but I think people should be held accountable for their current self, not so much their former self, because I think people are allowed to change. And cancel culture, like I said, I understand the intent. They want people to be better people, but going after somebody, something that they said years and years ago isn't going to do anything. It's just going to shame them and go and just make them regret shit that, was from years ago. It's dumb in my opinion. Next question is, what is the most overrated social media trend? Oh boy. Well, I answered this question, I think it was a few episodes ago. So that was like 6 months ago. It was the anxiety meme. I got really tired of it and annoyed with it. I thought that was a stupid trend. But I'm gonna say, I don't. I guess overrated is the wrong word. Overrated. I don't know anything right now that's been overrated. I'm sure some of you out there can probably point to some things, but as of right now, I don't know anything that's really overrated. Uh, that's a tough one. But 6 months ago, it was that anxiety song. Oh my god, I'm so glad that meme's dead. I'm so glad it's over with. Next question is: does the internet create unrealistic standards for lifestyle, beauty, or success? I think sometimes, yeah. Like I mentioned before, in previous questions here, it all depends on how often you're on the internet and how much you let it consume you and change you. I think it has the potential to do that to some people and a lot of people, unfortunately. But like I said, I think if you don't spend too much time on the internet and you're still connected with the outside world and you know yourself well enough, I don't think it will do that. But it can for most people who are just severely addicted to the internet. Next question is, how much privacy do we sacrifice for convenience online? Well, I think it has to do with like the terms and conditions thing. Like, I think there's a lot of people who are agreeing to these terms and conditions for different websites and different platforms, and they don't know what's going on with their data. Um, and I'm gonna kind of go into a conspiracy theory type thing. It's kind of not a conspiracy theory because it's factual. I have evidence for this shit. So whether I'm on Facebook or Instagram, usually it's Facebook and Instagram, I will get ads for stuff that I've said to people in person and stuff that I know I've never Google searched, which is fine. I don't mind getting ads for that kind of stuff. That makes sense, right? But I have gotten ads for things that I've said to people, and that freaks me the fuck out. I think somewhere along the way, I agreed to something to where Facebook and Instagram have too much access to my data and they're now able to listen to my conversations. I know I sound like a lunatic, but I swear there's stuff that I have not Googled, that I've only said in person, that I get ads for, and it's creepy. It happens all the time. And on top of that, this is more of an algorithm thing, I think. This is not really related to this question, but it's stuff I think about. Stuff that I think about I'm getting ads or posts for. But I think because people have asked, Mark Zuckerberg and social media executives, hey, do you guys use people's devices microphones? And they go, no, 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 it's all AI. It's all an AI algorithm. It just predicts what you're gonna engage with next. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but like I'll give you one example, right? And I have multiple examples for this. I can't name at the top of my head, but this was one of the first ones that really freaked me out. So this was like a couple years ago. Me and my friend Ford, also our former bassist of Mimpathy, we were talking in the kitchen, and Ford just got no. Did he just in, no? He I think he was. I think he got into bass a couple years prior, but he was wanting to get a new bass guitar. Um, and so we were talking in the kitchen, and he was like, "Yeah, there's this bass guitar that I really want." And he said the exact model, the type of bass guitar that he wanted, the color, all of that. And I was like, "Cool, man." And then I think he was still at my house. I think this was like an hour later. Uh, I look at my phone and I go, Ford. I show him my phone and I'm like, yo, that's the guitar you wanted, right? And he's like, yeah, that's the one. And I was like, what are the chances? Because I'm not a bass. Well, I am now getting into bass a little bit, but this was years ago when I was just into drumming. And I was like, I'm not a bass guitar player. Why am I getting this ad? If I was a bass guitar player and I thought about playing bass, okay, cool. I understand why I'm getting that ad, but I'm a drummer at this time. And I get a bass guitar ad with the exact model, the exact color, the exact brand, and I'm just like, yep, they're listening. They're listening. And now it's become sort of a joke with me and my family because it happens a lot. It happens like a few times a week. We'll be talking about stuff, and then hours later, or maybe a day later, I'll go, "Hey, mom. Hey, Vic, my stepdad. Hey, they're listening to us. Look what I got on my phone." And it's kind of like become this joke, but it's really not a joke because it's happening, and it's I sound like a lunatic, but like I swear this is happening. It's crazy. I guess I kind of went off the rails a little bit. What was the original question, actually? I think it had something to do with privacy and stuff. Uh, oh, yeah, I went way off the rails. So the question is, how much privacy do we sacrifice for convenience online? So I think, yeah, if people want to sign up for something that's really convenient, a lot of times, like I said, they'll check the box that says I agree to these terms, and sometimes they don't know what they're getting themselves into. So I think that's it right there. People um, don't really read the fine print because they want something that's convenient to them, and they'd rather not read through the whole agreement. So yeah. Next question is, should websites track user data to personalize experiences? Okay, that's kind of funny because that's literally what I was just talking about. So I think they should personalize it as far as maybe predicting what they're going to buy, because that's fine, or maybe watching what they're engaging with. That's cool. And even to a certain extent, maybe what they Google search. I guess it's fine if they want to track your Google searches. It's a little creepy, but it's it's not as bad. I would rather them not do that, I guess. But in terms of like predicting what they're gonna buy and seeing what they're engaging with, I think that's fine. But like I was saying, listening to conversations to give people ads it's messed up, dude. That's scary. It actually sometimes it sort of like makes me second guess what I'm gonna say because I'm like they could be listening right now. It's a very eerie feeling, and I don't think that these companies should be marketing ads in that way. Next question is, what is the biggest cybersecurity threat regular people ignore? I would say signing up for websites you're not familiar with that are less reputable, or maybe putting in your payment info to something that you're gonna buy and you don't do your uh, due diligence and do research, because I've done that before. Um, so there's that. I think that's the main thing. Like just not doing your research, making sure that you're using the right device when you're signing into stuff. Like I try to. I mean, I use my computer sometimes, but I feel like that's maybe the safest way to do it because phones are slightly secure, but especially if like you're in my case and you have an Android, things are less secure. So if you want to buy something online, it's probably better to just do it on a computer. But and another thing too is using services like PayPal and Google Pay. Like those are a lot more secure than just blindly adding in your card info to some website. Because like I said, I did do that. I'll give you guys kind of a background on that. So I gotta set my phone somewhere. I'm running out of room. So this was the beginning of 2021, and there was a song that had come out by Thundercat. Love Thundercat, great artist. He came out with a song called Dragon Ball Durag, and it's a silly song about him wearing a Dragon Ball Z durag and trying to impress his girl with it. And I was like, that's really funny. And I don't wear durags, so I thought it would be funny to buy a durag. So I found this website, and it wasn't connected to Thundercat. It was nowhere near reputable. It was just some website. What was the? I can't remember the website name. Plus, I don't want to get sued. I don't want to throw them under the bus because maybe this wasn't their fault. But I went on this random website that sold the Dragon Ball durag. It was kind of a knockoff. It wasn't, because the best durags are made from silk, and this one was made of like polyester and like spandex type stuff. So it wasn't the best, but I was like, I want to get this. This is so cool. I order it, and it gets here, and I'm like, I'm doing funny things with it. I'm putting it on. I went on my friend's podcast, and I was wearing it then. I was just having fun with it, and then I look at my bank account, and someone buys a parking ticket with my bank info, because it was from like, I think it was Washington. It was somewhere on the East Coast, and it's like, I don't really travel. I'm just here in the PNW. That's where I've been for forever. I've never been to the East Coast. So I was like, okay, someone bought a parking. No, not. I'm just not saying. I shouldn't say buy. I'm an idiot. They paid a parking ticket with my bank info, and so yeah, that was like a couple weeks later after I bought the durag. And then that's when my friends suggested to me, hey, you should probably use PayPal because it's a lot more secure. And so from then on, I've been using Google Pay / PayPal, all that other stuff. I don't care how reputable I think the site is. I really don't just put in my card info. I always make sure I use something that's safe, like Google Pay or PayPal or Apple Pay, stuff like that, because there's more of a firewall. These people can't access your payment info so easily. So I think that's the biggest cybersecurity thing, is people are not using the right services to make sure that their info is secure. And a perfect example of that is payment info. Next question is, are terms of service agreements ethical when no one reads them? Slightly no, because I know that on purpose they make these agreements very verbose. A lot of companies now are starting to make them more comprehensive, but especially back in the day, say Apple would give you like a 20-page agreement, and they know most people aren't going to read all the way through that. I think there is sort of an agenda with these companies and their terms of service agreements. They want to make it as verbose as possible, as many words as they can, so that people don't take the effort and read them, and then they check the box. So I think that's slightly unethical. Maybe legally they're not doing anything wrong, but I like it when a website or a company makes it so that you understand what the terms and conditions are. You don't have to read through 20 pages. It's just all there in bullet points. I really like that. One company that does that, hold on, my throat's getting dry. Time for some more coconut water. One company that I really like that does this exact thing is VideoPad, the video editing software that I use for my videos. Every time I buy a new version, this is separate. I have to pay for the upgrade to the new software, which is all right. I love VideoPad. I've used it since like 2010. So, you know, I've loved VideoPad. It's been a great service, a great software. But when I went to go upgrade my software a few months back, I went ahead and read their terms of service. And I was like, wow, this is really comprehensive. I like this. This isn't 20 pages of words for me to read through. They had it all there in maybe a couple pages. And the way that I do this, I just scan through it. I don't read it like word for word, but I scan through it. I get all like the meat and potatoes of what's there, and then I'm done. I think more companies should do that. I see why some corrupt companies might want to do that, to where they're like, we're gonna make it as complicated and tedious as possible, and then people are gonna be stupid. And I shouldn't say stupid, because a lot of people do that, but people are gonna be like, just take the easy way out and just check the box. But so I think it's slightly unethical for them to do that. I would like to see more companies just make something more simple, more easy to understand, and so everyone knows what they're getting into before they sign it. Next question is facial recognition technology a step too far? No. I mean it's great, but unless it's not used in the right way, if it's used unethically, if people are using it as like a privacy breach thing, where they're taking people's faces and they're doing stuff they're not supposed to do with it, then in that case maybe not. But I think if people are using it ethically, and they're using it for convenience, and they're using it to help people, then I think it's fine. But I don't think it's a step too far. Just as long as nobody uses it in a malicious way. Next question is, should people have the right to delete themselves off the internet? Absolutely. If you make a profile or a YouTube channel or something like that on the internet, that's all you. You should be able to take that down. I don't think any and I think I know where this is going. Because like I mentioned, I deleted my iFunny account, and basically what it told me before I deleted it was, we have all your data. Deleting this account can't get rid of your data that we've already collected. So, you can delete this profile, but we still got all your stuff. So let me look at the question again. I locked my phone again. Dang it. It's such a habit. But yeah, I think as soon as you decide to terminate your account, all of your data erased. It needs it there, and I understand that at that point, maybe if you have a profile for years and years, there's kind of a point to where your data has been branched out to so many other what do you want to say, like companies, that it's hard to catch it at that point. But in my opinion, yeah, if you decide that you want to delete your profile, your YouTube channel, your website, whatever, your entire footprint should be gone from that company. So yeah, I'd say no question. Yeah, you should be able to delete yourself off the internet. Next question is, how safe is online banking really? Well, I think in today's world, it's becoming more and more secure. They're less hackable. I like PayPal is a good example of a company that's always been secure. PayPal's been around for a very long time. It's not like Google Pay or Apple Pay, where it's been around for a little while. PayPal goes a long way back. And I'm not just saying PayPal is a good service. Apple Pay and Google Pay are great. Cash App is great. Zelle is great. Venmo is great. I'd say a few years ago, maybe they weren't as secure, but I think as time goes on, they're continuing to become more and more secure. And I think as of today, yeah, they're very reputable. I use pretty much all that stuff, and it's great. It's yeah, that they're becoming more secure as time goes on, and as of right now, they're definitely pretty secure. Next question is, should governments regulate social media algorithms? Yeah, like I was saying, So I don't think this is an algorithm thing per se, but I think the government should regulate how these companies are able to use your device's microphone and camera too. Because like I said, I have this conspiracy theory type thing where these companies are using our microphones and cameras in a malicious way. They're using it to track us unethically, and I think the government should crack down and not let these companies do that. That's just not ethical in my opinion. All right, next question is e-commerce killing traditional retail? Traditionally, yeah, I think the days of old are fiddling away, and I think the online convenience is making that, like I said, just fiddling away. So yeah, traditionally it's not the same, but I think it's changing the retail industry in a positive way. It's making things more convenient for people, um, and more comprehensive for people. It's I so I'm gonna go into this a little bit. So this isn't necessarily a retail thing, but it's kind of the same mechanics. I think I talked about this in a previous episode. It might have been the last episode. I talked about how I went to Taco Bell and there was a big touchscreen where you could order, and the only people working there were the people handing you the food and cooking the food. That was it. There were no cashiers, and I really liked that that thing. I think it was really cool. Um, but at the same time, I really don't want it to get to the point to where you order and there's absolutely no human interaction. That's just some matrix shit. Like I don't want it to get to that point. I think that okay, so I'll switch gears to like retail stuff. So I think e-commerce is cool. I think self-checkout is cool. But I think there needs to be, just for the sake of our society and the health of society, I think there still needs to be some form of human interaction when it comes to that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'd say it's killing traditional retail because traditional retail is completely the opposite. It's standing in a checkout line, talking to the cashier, picking your own groceries, and things like that. I think yeah, it's killing traditional retail, but it's making things more convenient. But like I said, there needs to be a limit to how AI and electronic it becomes. Next question is, will AI replace certain traditional search engines? Yeah, I think if it becomes more advanced, because I'm not the only one saying this, but the Google AI is crap. Like most of the stuff that I put in there or things that I ask, I know are wrong. Um, and it's kind of comical because it's like AI is supposed to be super advanced right now. Like, why is it like this? Like, because Snapchat AI is the same way. It's a joke, but I'm like, that's Snapchat. It's not really meant to be used for AI or anything like that. It's not really meant to be used as a chat bot. It's meant to be used for, pictures and videos between friends. So that's it's a joke, but that's fine. But it's like Google's AI. Google's AI should be more superior. I don't think it should be this stupid. So I think yeah, if they fix it, yeah, AI search engines are gonna be the future because it's just gonna be more convenient for people. But at the same time, it's kind of scary because people aren't gonna be doing their own research. They're gonna rely on the AI to give them um, all the research for them. But I'd say inevitably it is the future. It's kind of spooky, but it's the future. Next question is: are streaming services the new cable? Yeah, they're becoming the new cable. In fact, my family just switched over to YouTube TV. We were Dish Network customers for over 20 years, and thing with Dish Network, I hate using company names. I'm always afraid someone's gonna come after me and sue me. So I'll just keep this pretty broad and just general. So these cable companies, a lot of them have these certain packages, and you pick a package, And what they've been doing, and it's not just Dish, it's other companies too. They will add just surprise fees to their bills, and just hike prices for no reason. Whereas streaming platforms, you know exactly what you're paying per month, and they'll tell you if they're about to do a price increase. You can pause your subscriptions, you can cancel them easily. It's a lot more convenient. My family is saving a ton of money with YouTube TV compared to cable. Um, so yeah, I think they're the new cable. I think people are like, okay, we don't like getting screwed over. We don't like getting lied to by these companies and our bills. So yeah, it's the new cable, I think. Next question is, what will the internet look like in 20 years? I think it'll be relatively the same. I just think it'll probably be more convenient for people with AI, and then like, you know, progression from these tech companies and figuring out ways to make things more convenient for people. I think that'll be the main thing. I think it'll be more convenient, more useful. Um, yeah, I think that's mainly it. Just more useful, more convenient is the future of the internet. Next question is, will the metaverse ever take off, or is it a fad? How do I explain this? It's when the internet, the AI, the social media becomes super, super, super like integrated with daily life. And it already kind of is, but I'm talking about like the meta glasses. You put those on and the internet is a part of your world. I think that's what it's asking. Yeah, I think it's going to take off. Like those Ray-Ban glasses that they collaborated with Facebook. Those are cool. Like I kind of want to get a pair. They're super cool. They got a camera. I don't know if they do. I could be wrong, but I don't know if they do like social media functions. All I know for sure is they have a camera on them, but I think that's going to be the future. So it's happening. It's kind of scary, but it's happening. I don't know if I would like the social media glasses, or like being able to navigate stuff with glasses on. I don't know, but I like the camera function. That's kind of cool. Next question is, how has the internet changed the way we learn? I think convenience is a big thing. AI is another big thing. Um, it's not like the days of old where you would have to go to a library, find a certain book, or get an encyclopedia and look through it. Now, within seconds, you can type something in and you will learn about it. I will say, as of right now, people got to do their own research on the internet still. AIs aren't completely reliable yet. There's still a few bugs when it comes to that. But it's definitely different than back in the day when we had to go to libraries and stuff and talk to people and learn things that way. Next question is, are subscription models good for consumers? Yeah, I think they're fine. I think if people can keep track of their expenses when they're spending stuff on them. Thing is well, I talked about earlier about how the cable companies aren't being super ethical. Um, I think sometimes these tech companies, these streaming services, are kind of being deceptive, and they kind of know that a lot of people nowadays are completely losing track of their finances and are spending way too much on these streaming services. So I think they're good, you know, as far as surface level, but I think needs to be more, a little bit more transparency, because people can. I mean, I guess it's on them. I guess it's the people who buy them. I guess it's their fault for not managing their streaming services and their finances. But uh, I don't know. I think it would help a lot of people out if they were a little more transparent as to how they work. Next question is, what new technology could disrupt the internet next? I'm gonna. I know this is a very generic answer. It's something that everybody is saying, but I'm gonna say AI. I think it's gonna continue to grow, and it's gonna continue to change the internet and maybe disrupt it. It could get out of hand. Next question is, what makes something go viral? I think one big part, and I've noticed this as a content creator and someone who's on social media, It has to do with exposure. You have to kind of already be popular on the internet for something to go viral. And also there's an element to that to where you also have to have a system on how you post things, your format, and things like that. Maybe how you title things, the thumbnail, um, the tags, maybe hashtags. Um, so I think the main part is getting the exposure down because I've been posting videos on the internet for years and I've had social media for a very long time. And the yeah, the hardest thing is getting exposure. It's really hard because there's a lot of competition out there. But I've had social media and YouTube for years, and it's really hard to nail down that engagement thing because I think that's the biggest element to what makes something go viral. You got to have the right you got to have the right you have to have the right eyes on it at the right time, and that's really hard to do. Um, Also, some other elements maybe is the quality of what you're putting out there. Some stuff like brain rot is all just exposure. Like if you're already popular for posting brain rot and you know how to do it correctly, there doesn't have to be anything quality involved. In fact, I've had more success, I think, making brain rot shit compared to like my more complex like music stuff or even this podcast. Like I don't get nearly as many views compared to the brain rot stuff. So sometimes it doesn't always have to do with quality. Um, but I think it's mainly just the exposure, getting the audience necessary for that thing to go viral. Next question is, are online friendships as real as offline ones? I would say they're real. I mean, they're friendships, but there's less human connection online, I think. Um, and maybe that's slightly wrong because you can still video chat with people, but there's something about an in-person interaction with somebody that separates it from an online friendship. Online friendships are real, but there's just still not that human connection. Um, so they're real, but the only thing that's really missing, I guess, from that is the human connection. Seeing the person in person. All right, next question is, what is the most addictive app and why? TikTok, dude. And I'm telling you, that's why boomers are getting into it. Something about the way that they format that app. I don't use TikTok, but I know it is so addictive. And I think it's also paved the way for the way that Facebook Reels work, Instagram Reels work, YouTube Shorts work. And I think Snapchat kind of had an influence on it too. Just the swipe function. Like you don't have to press any extra buttons to get to where you need to go. All you need to do is just swipe. Next video, next video, next video. It is crazy. And the fact that you don't have to do a damn thing except for scroll once to get to your next big video, that's crazy. But it works. Yeah, I also think Vine started that too. I think Vine had that back in the day. But the way that it's set up now is just more addictive. So I would say TikTok is the most addictive. It's just not only do the young kids like it, no, regardless of age, a lot of people like TikTok. It's addicting. Yeah. Next question is, does online gaming get unfairly blamed for social issues? Yeah, it does. Because, and I think it's a lot of the older generations. They tend to blame gaming on world issues. They think that people who play these games get influenced, and then that they're just like a menace to society after, which is not true. Now, if you're a kid and you're playing a video game, that might be more true. But I think when it comes to adults and people who have a developed brain, playing a video game isn't gonna influence typically what you do outside of the video game. It's not the same thing. That's crazy. I totally skipped a question, I think. Yeah, I did. Okay, this is the question I was supposed to answer that I just skipped over. Stupid eyesight. Man, I gotta get my eyes checked again. All right, next question is, which meme defined the 2010s or the 2020s so far? So I would say the 2010s, the meme. I'm gonna say for the 2010s, as far as like pioneering the meme culture, were the comic memes and also the troll memes. So there was, I'm trying to remember all of them. The king of them was the troll face. That's kind of what started it all. But there was the troll face. There was the success fist baby. There is the challenge accepted. The six no, there was another success one I think, and then there was another meme that was like, "What do we want?" There's that one. There were so many. Oh, that's right. They were called the Rage comics. There was the Rage comics, and then I don't know what you want to call. They were like the meme generator ones with the big impact text on top and bottom, and the border. Like those, I think those were pioneers, uh, pioneer memes for that time. 2020, the 2020s. I don't know. I can't think of one big like one big meme. I think there's just been so many memes that have gone viral. It's really hard to pinpoint which was the biggest one. But I would say for the 2010s, it was the troll memes, the rage comics, those types of memes. I think they really laid the groundwork for the future of memes. Oh, here we go. What is the greatest YouTube video of all time? Oh my. Oh. I'm gonna go back to the Tourette's guy. The Tourette's guy series, not just video, but the Tourette's guy series is pinnacle YouTube. I know that technically it started off of YouTube, but I think even after it was posted to YouTube, it's just the greatest thing ever. I guess I'm super biased on this, but it's the greatest thing ever. Like every little bit of that series is so absurd, is so stupid, and so awesome. The Tourette's guy series has to be it for me. It's really hard to think of one because like I said, I've been on YouTube for 17 years. Um, but I think that's my favorite, and to me, it's the greatest series. It's so awesome. Next question is: should the internet have an official archive of memes? I think it should, because if something goes awry and the internet gets like wiped clean and everything's gone, there needs to be a failsafe. There needs to be an archive so that if something like that happens, we can bring it all back. Next question is: how has fan culture changed in the age of social media? Um, I think it's changed in terms of access to certain fan pages, um, like perfect example, the Tourette's guy. Um, without Instagram, and the ways that you can access certain videos and accounts on Instagram, and not just Instagram, other places too. If it wasn't for Instagram and sites like that, um, finding a fan page would be a little bit more difficult. Especially if you're talking about early 2000s internet, it was really hard to find stuff back in the day. So I think that's how it's changed. It's just changed the convenience of it and the overall availability to find these certain fan pages. Next question is internet discourse becoming more extreme? Uh yeah, I think so. Cuz I think it has to do with our access to certain information. I think with AI and googling and just having information available, it kind of gives fuel to the fire because you can debate with somebody, and if they're arguing something, you can just look it up on the internet and just get all the facts down so that when they're arguing with you, you can just spit facts, and then they don't know what they don't know what to do. There's that, and also like I was saying early on in the episode, a lot of people let the internet control their minds, and they don't uh, take a break off of social media and just get with the real world. That definitely influences the way that they think and just their decency when it comes to arguing with people. All right, next question is, why do people behave differently behind a screen? Well, that's because they're just they're staring at their phone or their tablet, and they're not face to face with people, because there's a different feeling uh, when you're with people in real life compared to when you're just on your phone. When you're on your phone, you have less consequences to what you're saying and what you're doing, whereas in real life, in a social situation, everything that you're doing is being watched and judged. People can hear you, people can see you. There's just a lot more that can go wrong. Yeah, there's a lot more that can go wrong, a lot more accountability when in real life compared to the internet. Next question is, what responsibility do platforms have for users' mental health? I mean, I think ignorance plays a role in this. If you're if you're very young and you're using the internet and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't have parents who can manage your screen time for you and educate you, or if you're older and you don't know how this affects you, I think to a certain extent, these companies have a responsibility to remind people, hey, manage your screen time. Don't get too carried away with social media and watching videos and being glued to the screen. There are some people who just don't know how to do that. So I think to help more people out, these companies should give tools to people that help them manage screen time. Next question is, has the internet made us impatient? I think so, and I think the integration of AI into the internet made people even more impatient. Yeah, I mean, I just think the nature of it is just yeah, if you're able to get something answered or done or accomplished in 3 seconds, why would you want to do it any other way? Like in real life, like it's just that it's a convenience thing. I think just by its nature, people are going to become more impatient, thanks to the internet. But there's certain things you can do too. Um, you know, you could remind yourself, hey, outside the internet, these things take time. All right, next question is misinformation a tech problem or a human problem? I think it's more a human problem. I think there are people out there who don't know how to do their own research. They don't know how to think for themselves, and they'll just believe everything that they see on the internet. And so it's not a tech problem. It's people's lack of ability to research things and learn things. Um, so and yeah, I just don't see it being a tech problem. It's definitely a human problem. All right, final question is, if you could fix one thing about the internet, what would it be? I'm gonna say the AI. It's gonna fix itself with time, but I'd say Google in particular, fix your AI, man. It's so bad. Fix your AI. It shouldn't be this. ChatGPT is miles above Google's AI, and Google's a massive website. It's been a renowned search engine for the past close to 30 years. So I'd say that's something I would like to change about the internet. Uh, Google, fix your AI. All right, guys, that does it for this episode of the Brogcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.